I've covered a lot of stories on this channel relating to teachers suing school districts, as well as other teachers for various allegations of injustice, but we don't too often see the case of teachers suing students. But we do today, and we're going to take a look at an article that covers that subject. This was shared with me by a colleague, and it is from Fredericksburg.com. It says former Stafford teacher files 1.5 million lawsuit against four students, published on October 3rd, 2025. The article states a former Stafford County teacher has filed a 1.5 million lawsuit against four former H.H. Poole Middle School female students, alleging they assaulted her during a January 2024 brawl. Some of the students also faced criminal charges, but the outcome of their court hearings is not available since they are juveniles. Michelle Egan filed the complaint in Stafford County Circuit Court on August 20th against four of the five students involved in the incident. The girls were in the 8th grade at the time. Egan stated that she was standing at the doorway to her classroom just after 1 p.m. awaiting the arrival of her students after lunch. At the same time, a group of students entered the second floor hallway near Egan's classroom. Two students became engaged in a heated argument, and Egan attempted to de-escalate the situation by standing between them. According to Egan's complaint, punches were exchanged, and when one of the girls fell to the ground, Egan was taken down with her. While on the ground, one of the girls allegedly punched Egan, connecting with her head. At the same time and place, the three other girls named in the lawsuit were each mere spectators of the brawl, the complaint states. For reasons unknown to plaintiff, the three other girls each then began stomping and or kicking plaintiff's body, including her head and neck, with their feet. So this is a pretty brutal situation where a teacher jumped in the middle of a fight and ended up being the punching bag for these other students. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because this right here, this is the exact reason I have decided to stop trying to break up student fights. And I don't care what anyone else tells me. Schools do not train teachers, or at least the schools that I've been to do not train teachers on how to handle fights. They don't directly tell you to jump in and stop a fight, but I think that it's sort of implied, like they want you to do that, I guess. No one has told me that, to be fair, but it's kind of an unsaid thing that teachers are supposed to break up fights somehow. But look, I'm 5'6", and in middle school, a lot of the students that I deal with are actually taller than me, and I have no interest in getting in the middle of a fight and facing some type of work-related damage, work-related injury. It's just not worth it to me. I actually had a case when I was substitute teaching where something happened. It wasn't really, I grabbed a student's shirt at one point, and the student ran off, okay? And I grabbed the student's shirt because I was standing in front of the doorway, not allowing students to leave my classroom, and a student came and grabbed the doorknob, which was behind me, and ripped the door open while I was standing in front of it. And then when I grabbed the student's shirt to try and stop them, they twisted, and my finger got caught up in their shirt, and I think that it broke my finger. My finger has never been the same for weeks, months. I had pain in that finger, and my finger's never been the same. So getting in the middle of an altercation, trying to jump in between students, that's just out of the question for me. It's not something that I'm willing to do, and I don't care what anyone says. It's not part of my job responsibility. If students get in a fight, I'm going to let them fight it out. If another teacher is nearby, bigger than me, that wants to jump in, that's great. But don't ask me to jump into the middle of a fight. Anyways, that was a whole rant, a whole tangent, but that's exactly what happened in this case. The teacher stood in between these students, got knocked to the ground, and then got curb stomped, essentially. So, continuing with this article, it says, the lawsuit states that because of the defendant's alleged actions, Egan suffered various and significant personal injuries, including but not limited to traumatic brain injury and partial blindness. Egan alleges that each of the defendants owed her ordinary care in their own conduct to prevent causing harm or injury to her. Egan's claim states she suffered and will continue to suffer severe, serious, debilitating injuries, some permanent, because of the incident. Egan goes on to state that she has endured physical pain, mental anguish, humiliation, and embarrassment, inconvenience, and medical expenses. She is represented by John Shea of the Marks and Harrison law firm in Richmond. In filings, Shea demanded a jury trial. Multiple attempts to reach family members of the girls named in the lawsuit for comment were unsuccessful. Bystanders recorded video of the incident. Each of the defendants' careless, reckless, and negligent actions alleged herein were committed knowing that plaintiff would probably be harmed in unconscious disregard of, or at least a reckless indifference to plaintiff's right not to be harmed, the lawsuit states. Now, I do have an inside source that also told me, because the article talks about how she suffered humiliation and embarrassment, and I have an inside source that told me that essentially after this incident went down and the teacher returned to the classroom, the individuals, the students who were involved in this altercation also returned to the classroom as well, and she was told that she basically had to suck it up, that she had to deal with it. So there is that. And I don't know if that plays into the case at all, but this is an interesting situation because, like I said, we don't often see the case where a teacher sues students. And these were 8th graders. These were 8th graders at the time. So the question becomes, is this a valid case? Because I'm no legal expert and I don't know how these things work. I don't know. I don't often see adults suing children. But, I've also covered some news stories, some reports on behavior and whether or not parents should be held responsible for their children's behavior. And in this case, I think this might be one of those situations where, because some schools have said, well, if students are going to act up, misbehave, get in fights, then the parents are going to have to pay. There's going to be a fine or something that the parents are going to have to deal with because, they are responsible for their children, even if they're at school, especially public school. So are these parents going to have to pay? Now, this is a 1.5 million lawsuit, so I suspect that, this is a lot of money being asked for. I think that maybe there might be some payment that is made for the damages, the medical expenses that this teacher has had to face, and, partial blindness and, brain injury. That's some serious stuff. So this isn't just some petty case that's being lodged against these students. This is a real issue. And, while I disagree with the teacher's action of jumping in the middle of this fight, because I think that was probably a stupid mistake. It's a rookie mistake. It's the way I see it. Because, new teachers, and I don't know if this is a new teacher, but this is the kind of thing that maybe I did in my first couple of years, but not anymore. Not anymore. But the question here is this lawsuit valid? And do you think that this teacher should receive some compensation from these students or from the parents? And that's the question that I have for you today. So, hey, what do you think? Let me know down in the comment section. Really, that's all I have for you in this article. Very interesting, and I will be following up on this to see what the eventual outcome is. But like I said, all I have for you today. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment with your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.